That was your quick question?
The hand-me down.
Cook's out there.
Cookie said. He can't right now, but he's gonna shine in out there when he get his jazz session. He on the road.
Okay.
Wait a minute, 4:30.
Henry,
He's not on.
Do it that way. Let's just do it that way. Because actually, I mean, technically, it still is good. Okay, I mean, because they get it. Yeah, I mean, but let's don't go through redoing it and all that kind of thing, okay? Let's just keep it like it is.
let's cook. How you?
Jennings, how are you today?
Doing good. You never catch a wet, wet.
My driveway was flooded. I had a hard time getting out.
Well, I want to see what they was going on when I get back. I know. Before he done got on the carport.
Yeah, several departments.
Welcome back, Amanda.
Not the courts and not the clerk of court.
People that needs to be over.
Nice to see you again.
Is he at home?
Yeah, see if he gonna, I did check to see if he gonna shine in. May not feel it.
Very careful. I slid a couple times.
They talking about 8 o'clock.
It's gonna go what, say about in the morning?
Like 4 o'clock this morning. I've been watching the weather channel. I said, well, if it goes east of Tallahassee, then the major part of the storm will go through the. Man, it's this thing, I want this thing to go west of Tallahassee.
Yes.
Let Atlanta take it.
I thought that's where it was going yesterday. Look at that tune. But then like it was showing being Florida, but that's south. That on the Gulf. But it's Alabama.
She's, I think, Jack is on.
But he said he ain't never looked at it.
He hadn't looked at the emails, so they're trying to get it up. Good, how are you? I can have it once they make a decision. Yeah, I can get it to you.
I think we could do it where they can buy a minimum or maximum. But, you know, the question is, do you want to extend that contract or keep it where it is? If they want to extend it to 16 years. We can extend it. I think the thing to do would be to have them pay the same amount, and then require them to get what their minimum, what they requested, but they can get up to a maximum. It would have to be sold for taxes, and nobody bid on it, and FLC got it, and got a 1-year redemption period. Now, if they deeded it back to the,
Okay, I think he's on now. Mr. Banks, are you on?
you don't have to accept it.
Mr. Banks, are you on? Okay.
That'll be ready in a few minutes.
You want me to get Chuck?
Yeah, get Chuck, yeah.
Jack down.
Jackie's on.
Jackie on.
Let me get Chuck then.
Okay. Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to McCormick County Special Call Meeting / Executive Session on September 26, 2024. This time we're going to call our meeting to order. We ask one can stand. The invocation by our administrator, Mr. Stephen.
Let us bow. Eternal God, we are bowed before you to say thank you for your many blessings that you bestowed upon us. As we go through the meeting today, continue to lead, guide, and direct our path. Have us to do those things that's pleasing in your sight. We ask you to bless those who are in bereavement, bless those who are sick at this hour of the day. That everything that we do, let us do it to please you. In your name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Time we have a roll call coming from our credit to the council, Ms. Bond.
Charles Jennings.
Present.
Bernard Hamby. Charles Cook.
Present.
Henry Banks. Jackie Brown. G.P. Callison.
Present?
Columbus Stevens.
Present.
Thank you, and we do have a quorum. Time of this decision item be item number 1, council to consider authorizing the administrator to sign the 1-year professional service contract with Clear Water Solution, LLC. Get a motion. Get a motion? The motion is second. Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Cook.
I beg everyone's forgiveness on this, but I do have a few questions with respect to the contract. Now, I have not had the opportunity to review the one that we've just been provided. Mr. Callison,
Yes, sir.
is this identical to the one that you sent us by email? Or have revisions been made in
Yes,
the?
sir. It's actually the same contract that was entered into initially, then extended, except I removed the extensions where there's no extensions. It's a 1-year contract.
Okay, but that was,
Terminates,
but it's the same, that,
It's the same contract.
same one you sent out in the email?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, great. I do have some questions, so you'll have to bear with me here. On Article 1, Paragraph 2, operate and manage the water distribution and wastewater collection systems on a 24-hour per day, 7-day per week basis, or as required by South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. I'd like to, we can do these all at once or one at a time. I'd like to change that or to and. Seven-day per week basis and as required by the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control.
No worries there, Mr. Chairman. I mean, that would, we can save that for the motion to amend, but that's just language. That's no problem.
Okay, okay. In paragraph 4 of that article, down about halfway, to rehabilitate, expand, or modify the treatment facility to comply with governmental safety regulations applicable to service providers' operation hereunder. What is the treatment facility? I was not aware that we had any. I think that's CPW's responsibility. We would need, I think we would need some kind of permit or license for us to release any kind of chemicals or treatments into our existing water supply.
I don't know what to tell you on that, except that it says if any.
If any.
And if there is
Or if any.
there's no need to do it. Treatment could be considered maybe also a lift station, perhaps. We got those, we got 40-something lift stations in McCormick County. So, I mean, that may be a meaningless provision, you know, regarding the need to expand or modify the treatment facility to comply with governmental safety regulations.
If that only applies to the lift stations, then
I think it would apply to the system.
because I don't know that I don't think we have a facility to treat the water. I mean, the only facilities we have that I'm aware of that could even possibly be connected to that would be the lift stations. And we could certainly indicate something in here with respect to the applicability of this to sewage collection, rather than.
Just change that treatment to system. I mean, treatment facility, just change it, say expand or modify the system to comply with federal regulations and so forth. System would be the.
Okay,
The
all right.
distribution system.
Okay. Sounds good. Over on section 5 of this article, employ operational staff is required to operate the county's wastewater collection system in accordance with best management practices. Best management practices as defined by whom?
That would actually probably be defined by DHEC and also by the actual best management practices utilized in the industry. That's a common term used in environmental agreements, to use the best available technology, best management practices, and those type of things. So I mean, it would have to be defined through.
Yeah, I mean, we've got ensure compliance with all county, state, and federal requirements and regulations. So maybe if we can just add something to that, best management practices within the industry?
Well, and that's what you're talking about. You're talking about industry standards. And, you know, that's implied in here. I mean, you've got, it states best management practices. I don't have a problem adding anything to that from a legal standpoint at all.
I just want to, I mean, it's unclear when you're talking about best management practices in terms of what you're talking about.
Sometimes you can leave that, things like that as it is and have that determined. It might be more beneficial to the county to leave it that way.
Okay.
Because best management practices, if you said best management practices in the industry, well, you know, that limits it to the industry. Whereas best management practices would apply to industry, would apply to DHEC, would apply to EPA, and those type of things. But it's up to council to decide that.
Yeah, and he said with all county, state, and federal requirements and regulation. So that includes all.
Yeah.
Right there.
I mean, that's why I'm differentiating between management practices and all of the federal, state, county requirements and regulations. If you want to leave that out, I can go along with that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Later in that section, says service provider will be responsible for compliance, analytical testing, sewer backups, installation of sewer taps, line breaks. I'd simply add to that line breaks, repair of line breaks. Because they're not responsible for line breaks, they're responsible for the repair of line breaks.
I think line breaks would include repairs, but you can put put line break repairs in there, that would mean that the service provider's responsibility will be limited to line break repairs and not line breaks.
Well, the other option is simply to leave breaks out and say sewer lines. So that would include repair and maintenance.
When they say line break, manhole location and repair, then it go on to say, then it's and sewer overflow. Don't that take care of the sewer line?
Not necessarily. You can have all kinds of overflows that don't involve breakages. When I made the original suggestion, it was just consistent with the next phrase, manhole locations and repairs. But I mean, I think if you simply change that to read installation of sewer taps, sewer lines, manhole locations and repairs, then just add that one word and take out breaks. So they're responsible for sewer.
Well, you can follow the language in paragraph 6, which is related to water. And that's got a little more language in there, Mr. Cook, that might be good. In the middle, it says responsible for repairing water leaks.
Yeah, I've got a comment on that too.
Pipe breaks, so you can put responsible for repairing sewer line breaks. You know, you can put sewer line breaks.
Yeah, I mean, that just,
I think it's covered, but you know, if you want more specific language, you can certainly do that. Make a motion to amend it.
okay. Well, I would just add the word sewer lines and eliminate the word breaks. Next in that section is the firm will assist the county in reduction of inflow and infiltration. Could somebody explain that to me?
I sure can't. That's gonna have to be water and sewer.
I don't know what that means. Let's move on to the next one. In paragraph 6, again, we use the term best management practices. I think that should be more clearly defined, but I'll pass on this if you think it's sufficient. When you get down to that 3 lines down, responsible for repairing water leaks, pipe breaks, repairing seems to apply to the whole thing. Repairing meter reading, repairing fire hydrant repairs. So what I would suggest is just drop the comma for repairing water leaks and pipe breaks, comma. So simply substitute the word "and" for the comma.
Okay?
Okay. Paragraph 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Back up where on that same line with the pipe breaks. When it talks about fire hydrant repairs and maintenance, I would add fire hydrant repairs and replacement, and testing of fire hydrants, including determining adequate pressure. Because we don't, there's nothing in there about the requirement for testing those hydrants with respect to providing adequate pressure for fire protection. And if my understanding is correct in talking about that with several of the fire chiefs, that has virtually not been done in their memory.
Well, I think you could put in there fire hydrant testing, comma, repairs, and maintenance would include replacement. I mean, if it's a part of your maintenance program, you discover that a fire hydrant needs to be replaced, then it's already covered under the contract.
Well, I understand that. I was simply addressing one of the comments that was made at a recent county council meeting, in that reports had been made of missing fire hydrants, and that it had not been replaced for more than a year. But if you think that's covered, then fine.
I think that's covered.
Okay.
You could add that term.
Okay, I mean, let's just add hydrant testing,
Yeah.
comma, repairs, and, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Got it.
okay.
I got that.
Paragraph 9, again, we've got that accepted industry maintenance practices. And I don't know why we can't make all of those consistent, but if you think it's unnecessary, then fine. Later, at the next to the last sentence, maintenance's data. Should that just be maintenance data? Eliminate the S.
I think you probably should.
It says maintained by a software package presently utilized. Who owns that software package? Is that ours or theirs?
The county.
The county does?
County owns everything.
Okay. So there's no question that if CWS were to leave after a year, that data would belong to us?
Even if we purchased a new software package, it still belongs
Okay.
to the county.
Okay, so that's ours. Okay. Paragraph 11. The term in there is, in that last sentence, is fair market wages. Who determines whether they're fair market wages, and should there be any procedures in there with respect to giving employees the opportunity to contest whether or not their wages are fair market?
I wouldn't put it in the agreement.
Who determines that?
If somebody contested the wages that they were getting paid, then they could contest it as not being fair market wages. But I think as a general definition, fair market wages would be what's generally paid. It could actually even be anything from $7.25 an hour, which is your minimum wage, to $20 an hour.
I understand.
So, I mean, I don't think you need to further describe that. I mean, I think you're just opening windows there.
Well, is that sentence even needed then?
Well, it doesn't harm anything. It indicates that McCormick County wants you to pay fair wage.
Well, I understand that. It just raises an unnecessary issue if we are doing that and they have to pay at least the minimum wage, then
Well, you can strike that out and
I mean,
pay whatever
I'm just saying it's a superfluous sentence.
they can then
think-
pay whatever.
I think this need to stay because we want to the employee, you want to be, that you want to follow the labor market of price and fairness.
Well, I understand. I'm just saying, but
But then we don't,
if they don't have a way to challenge it, then it's
but still we want to.
It's academic.
Mr. Chairman, I'll say something. Any employee had the right to challenge it, plus we will provide them, when I say we, as a county, if somebody challenges the salary, employees do that all the time. And we try to do a comparison and show them, even doing the studies and things of that sort. So it's addressed, you giving the employee due process also.
okay. Section 13. Shall be responsible for preforming. Shouldn't that be performing?
Unless you live in the South, then we might call it free. I think you're right on that one. It's good.
Okay, and so then the question becomes who pays? Says they'll be responsible for it, but who pays? Is that the county? Does the county pay, or does the service provider pay?
It says they're maintaining them. Who pays for that?
It's in the contract.
All right,
It's in the agreement that the county council approve X number of dollars for maintenance, just like you do any other department. And it falls within the purview of the $2 million. If a transmission go out, it still should be part of their budget. Like any other department and any other vehicle.
Okay,
It's just a line item that they have in their budget for
so
maintenance.
they pay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's part of the budget.
In paragraph 15, says they shall advertise locally for any positions that become available. What is the local labor market as we define it? Now, if we talk to our economic development director, he considers the local labor market to include virtually all of southern McCormick County, Edgefield, Saluda, Greenwood. And so when we talk about advertising locally, what does that encompass?
Crystal, can you explain to them that we do the same thing for all positions in terms of the way we advertise? That haven't changed. When you say locally, you make sure you give opportunity to local people also. We also put it on the South Carolina Association of County.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Go
when
ahead,
you-
Crystal.
They have their own advertise, they have it on their website and stuff for their jobs, and I believe it's on one of the employment,
It's on the water
the
department.
water and sewer.
It's on the water and sewer.
But would we be advertising that in local media? For example, the Index Journal or the Journal Messenger or the
I'm not sure, I would have to check with them. Now, we do, as far as our county jobs, but I'm
Understand.
not sure since CWS took it, it's been the contractor, but I do know they have a site that you go on to apply and everything for all their jobs throughout their company.
I just think we ought to add something with respect to what the local, if we're going to require them to advertise it locally, then I think we need to
What do you
define.
want it to say? Just give us the language.
I don't know that I can. Maybe Mark Warner is the one who essentially is advocating what the local labor market ought to be for jobs in McCormick County. So I would get input from Mark Warner on what the local labor market, what he considers to be the local labor market.
His local labor market is 50 mile parameters within 50 miles. But I can put it in there, whatever he has.
Whatever,
We'll
you know.
use the same thing.
Whatever he thinks. you
Sure,
know.
because it's still part of the county anyway. We'll do it the same way.
Okay. Next article. Paragraph 4, service provider shall provide and/or pay for the following. My question on this is, how much of the payment for all of this, how much is coming out of CWS's fee? And I noticed that fee has gone down from 2.1 million to 1.75 million. How much of that is coming out of the $450,000 in the R&M budget? And are there any other direct payments for which they are reimbursed that come out of our budget? I'm just trying to figure out when we talk about all of this stuff, where it's coming from.
It's coming from the line item budget that we prepare for you all from the county. It's a salary category, just like any other department. That $450,000 would be for expenses that we just bagged off. That means the county will be paying it, but it's still part of the $4 million that the county approved. Nothing has changed with the line item.
So none of this in paragraph 4 comes out of their fees?
I can double check to make sure, but to my understanding, they got the line items for all of the categories of everything that they submit to the finance director.
Okay. So that fee is pure gravy. Okay.
But it's nothing over and beyond what you all already approved. It's within the confinement of the budget.
I understand.
My understanding that fee includes payment for labor, payment for salary of benefits, payment of insurance, payment of the 401k, payment of the ambulance.
Well, that's what I'm trying to determine because based on what Columbus is saying, we have approved that as a part of our line item budget.
Right.
And that would be in addition to the fee.
No,
That's not a
no,
straight up fee.
no,
That
not.
actually comes from the CWS, comes from the not CWS, from the water and
Water and
sewer
sewer budget.
That's the amount that would be spent anyway.
Anyway, whether they
For employees, for everything else. They get that and they have to pay it.
I'm just trying to make sure as to where the funds for that are coming from. If it's in the line item budget that we have approved coming out of county appropriations, and there's a $2.1 million fee on top of that.
no, not a 2 no, sir.
Well,
Everything is included in whether we was in a contract agreement with them or not, the budget still would be the same. They're not charging us over and beyond. $4 million is the total budget, including everything, every item. It's just like another department. We just break it down, whether it's FICA, whether it's fringe benefits. What they do is, if you look at the 140 under compensation, they send us a bill every month. It's minus $450,000. So what they do is submit all of the costs that was incurred, and we send them a check. No, sir. Everything is included. If you go into compensation and look at the 2 million plus minus 450,000, that's what it was. It's 1,000,007 now, because we are now paying some of the bills for the R&M, for expenses. And all of that still is included in the bottom line for the budget.
Well, I think that gets a little confusing, does it not, when you're talking about object class allocations coming from two different funding sources? One, the appropriations, and two, the fees.
The fee is included.
All right, let's go.
I'm not the budget man.
Let's go down these things.
My understanding was that they met with the finance director and went through every single.
And county council.
And county, every single allocation of money and went through that and said, all right, we'll pull that out of the budget. That's where that fee comes from. It is for managing
Right.
and operating the system, but it includes, they have to pay for that out of their money, that they're budgeted. That's my understanding.
And the finance department got a record every month.
Talk to the man here. I'm
Well,
the budget man.
well, let's look at that. If you get down to item J, fuel and maintenance for service provider and county vehicles / equipment. Now, we just talked about that in an earlier section in which you indicated that the service provider was responsible for that.
It's part of that budget that they submitted, though. I hear what you're saying. However,
I'm just trying to figure out where the money's coming from.
I'm trying to show you it's coming from the money you already approved, because that is still a county department. It's no different than EMS. They got a maintenance budget, they got a fuel budget. All of that is in conjunction with what we do. So what they do at the end of the month, they submit to the finance department 140, it used to be 160-something thousand. All we do is pay them for the expenses they've already taken, but it's inclusive of the budget that you all already set.
Well, I understand the county has approved it,
But
but
it's
it,
nothing different than the way we used to do it. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. It's no different than no other department, because we still own everything.
but it's coming out of two pots of money.
No, it's coming out the money that's
There is a
collected from the, no, sir. It's not general fund money, it's not tax money. That is strictly the fees that you all have imposed upon the water department to collect. When they collect, that's an enterprise fund.
Well, is there or is there not a separate line item for the fees?
No, sir.
There's
When
no-
you say separate, I can find out exactly what the fee is, but it's inclusive of this budget that you're signing off for now. There's nothing separate over and beyond.
If there's a separate line item for the fees, then
I'll find out
then
exactly
then
what the fee, if you're interested in the fee they charge and that's already included, I'll get it for you.
I understand. I'm just trying to find out where the money's coming from, whether it's coming out of county funds that are kept in the water and sewer budget, or whether it's coming out of their fees. I'm just trying to find that out.
I'll find out.
Okay.
Can I make a quick recommendation? We've got the forfeited land.
Yeah, we got to move on, yes.
Let's go, if you would go into executive session.
Right, and finish up.
And go ahead and deal
I can live with that.
Yeah,
do with the forfeited land commission so
Okay.
that they can get back to their
Okay,
office.
that'll be fine.
So go into, and we can come back to this.
Okay. Move to go,
Do I have to get a motion on it?
A motion to go into executive.
move to go into executive session.
Get a second? Yeah, that's right. I second it. The motion is second. Any question or comments?
That motion is to go into executive
Executive
session
session,
to discuss modifications of the agreement with SLV Windfall Group, and also to discuss receive a legal update and advice concerning a circuit court case on referendum.
Okay.
That won't take long at all, but we could go ahead and first deal with the forfeited land commission.
And then we get to the, okay. All in favor? Nobody vote aye? I'm in the right hand. Thank
There we
you.
go.
All right,
All right.
to the back.
We'll be back in a few minutes.
We can go back there.
Where can they,
I'd
are they hooked up to go in there?
I can take my computer in there. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out where y'all want to sit.
Stay in here.
I just have to have the public go
Go
out.
back out in the lobby. Okay.
You want to do that? All right, let me turn off.